In this video, Beverly Neal-Clinton of the TaxZero Plan will show you some tax-reducing strategies to increase your spendable income capital by nearly 70%. We're talking about black wealth here. We'll cover everything from deductions and credits to retirement account contributions. So do not go nowhere on the Black Commentary Podcast Show. I'm your host, Marcus Hart. Let's get to it. Okay, welcome to the Black Commentary Podcast Show. And Marcus, of course, once again, we got our good guest with us who been charming, on the other side, and we got a chance to, see her wonderful fur baby, and she's been telling me about some very important information that you guys are going to, be introduced to. About taxes. If you are someone who do pay taxes or don't like paying taxes or like paying taxes, this is the information for you. There are 73,000 pages of the IRS tax codes, and only 522 of them are relevant to the personal income taxes. So, Miss Beverly Neal is with us today, Miss Beverly Neal-Clinton. So Miss Neal-Clinton, do us a favor by kind of introducing yourself in your own words.
Certainly. Thank you for having me. I'm always grateful when you make time to have us available. So my name is Beverly Neal-Clinton. I am the Director of African American Trust. I'm actually a Senior Executive Trust Officer within an organization. But today, we're not going to talk about trust because that's a separate show. Today, we're going to talk about our TaxZero plans. What the TaxZero plan is, it's an amazing tool. And I liken it to having information and then knowing what to do with it. An example I would use would be someone who has a saw and someone who has a hammer. You're obviously, if you know how to use the tool, you're not going to take the saw to drill in the nail, and you're not going to take the hammer to create a circle or cut wood. But once you know how to use the tools, then that's when it becomes amazing, and that's what this is. The TaxZero plan actually is information that was previously only available to those folks in Wall Street. It was created about 30 years ago by an amazing man by the name of Dr. Fran McGuire, who's my partner. And he created this information back in the 80s when Wall Street brokers were at a 46th percentile in their taxes. They were trying to figure out, how do I keep more of my money and not pay so many taxes?
Yeah. And
this is the tool, this is the very same tool that they use that we now have access to. And what it does, we focus primarily on small business owners, folks within the medical field, and anyone who receives a 1099. And I liken a 1099 to, did you ever see the movie Willy Wonka?
Yeah.
All right. See how you got that smile? Remember when he found out that he had the golden ticket?
Yes, I do.
That's what a 1099 is.
Yep.
These are people with golden tickets, and they don't know that they just made it. This is what opens the door to everything else that's possible. We take that 1099, we cross-reference the exact codes within the IRS to whatever your deduction is. So let me give you an example of what we're talking about. So our course costs $949. It is lifetime. It includes all of the updates. And it is actually a TaxZero plan in and of itself, because according to IRC, which is the Internal Revenue Codes 162C1, it states that any expenditure that a taxpayer makes in order to increase their net worth or lower their tax liability by virtue of education, reading, or recorded materials whether copyrighted or not, shall be fully deductible in the tax year so expended. So what that's saying is this, what we're doing now, we're talking about it, but the execution comes in the purchase of it and then taking that information and cross-referencing it with your actual deductions. Now, having said that, we have several conversations where people actually take our package to their CPA when they say, this is why I can have these deductions, because CPAs and financial planners come to us when they can't make decisions, when they can't make choices, when they don't know how to fix this. I'm chomping at the bits to say, but we did an NDA, so I can't say who it was, but that person came to us. We created something that was very amazing, and it calmed that chaos. That's a good word. Yeah, good way to put it. And so, yeah, it was. And it was interesting because it was one of those newsworthy stories, and then it just quieted. And if anybody paid attention to it, for us, that was the moment when it quieted down using the tools that we have. This is a grassroots movement. I am asking people to join. I'm asking people to understand that they probably have more worth, but they're just not using it, because 74% of people who are independent contractors, 74%, do not use the tax codes to their advantage, which means the IRS uses their ignorance against 74% of the people, that they're leaving money on the table. And they're not going to tell you because it's business. Don't take that personally, but it's business. So for us, we want you to only pay what you owe and not a penny more, because we tend to be first fired, last hired, and still lowest pay. So we're taking that money, and all I'm saying is just you can have it, but give it back. Anybody who knows me knows I've said for years that there's been taxation without representation. I do not want you taking my money if I don't have a say in where it goes. So we're looking at how do we create our own reparations, because again, when we talk about that, people get all Twitter-baited. Yep. This creates our reparations. This takes what you're doing, and as my partner says, we take their bullets and we fire at them using their codes, because everything we do, it comes out of the IRS codes, and it justifies why we can do these other things, and people just don't know. So I am the voice crying out in the wilderness saying, all right, let's go get some water, let's do it. I'm talking to anybody who will listen, and the flip side of that is when you're presented with this information and you don't take advantage of it, then you're right where they left you, which is in the dark. Because this is illuminating. This program has the potential to change not only your life, but those that come after you. Because imagine let me give you some numbers on this, because I don't want to just be talking and it don't make sense. Let me break something out for you.
Okay.
So if you use the TaxZero Plan and you apply it over a 25-year span, it will reduce your taxes by about $650,000.
Good money.
And it also builds retirement income, again, 25-year span, of about $925,000. Those numbers are real. They are possible, doing what you're doing, but then getting the deductions that come with that.
That sounds like is giving people a bungee cord to go bungee jumping.
I've done that before in New Zealand. It's amazing.
And you got the talking point where it says, inflation is actually a gift, and when we look at the rising cost of things, and people don't know how to recoup some of that money back, and when people arrive at tax time, it's like, what can I write off? What can't I not write off? And that is like a Rubik's Cube sometimes, because you don't know what you can legally write off.
Exactly. And that's what we have. That's why it's called TaxZero Plan. Mm-hmm. We have already done all the work. We culled the information out of those 73,000 pages. Again, as you said, the 522 that actually apply to personal income, and we have laid them out. All you have to do, there's a nurse, a surgical nurse that I'm working with. This year she'll make about $140,000. She has no write-offs. So I said, look, you can do you can get the write-offs of $74,400. You can get write-offs up to $74,458 as a 1099, and then as a small business owner, you can then put $20,500 into your solo 401k. So of that $140,000 that she's made, we've now taken off the table 94 and some change. So she's only paying taxes on the 50.
Okay.
Legally.
Wow. Yeah. So what tends to trick people up a lot, and especially for single filers, is that that shiny old standard deduction that they get baited in, and then these four stories come out, like the one that they released in October, oh yeah, you're gonna get an extra $900 increase on your standard deduction, and and then everybody gets very lazy and oh well, I'm just gonna take the little $13,850. I can't figure this thing out. So how do we re-educate people to say the heck with that standard deduction? It's not doing anything for you.
Well, first of all, you've got to be a bit more fearless. I mean, if you do the same, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and then expecting a different result.
Right.
I keep going back to a saying that my grandmother had: you do better when you know better. Mm-hmm. And people think that education is expensive. It's really not. It's ignorance that costs you. So you've got a couple of things that you need to stir into that pot. You need to be willing to do something different. You need to understand that it is an actionable item. And when you put in the work, that's 3. When you put in the work, then you get the output.
Right.
But nothing. I mean, I can say I want to go to New Zealand and bungee jump again. If I don't have the money to buy the ticket to get the plane, to travel over there, get my visa straight, and then make the reservations to do that jump, which I did 3 times, nothing is going to happen. You can dream about your pie in the sky, but this is not about a pie in the sky. This is about taking the same laws that have always been available that we didn't know about, and now taking back what's owed to you. Imagine where you would be. I'm just going to say 3 years. If you got 70% more of your spendable income. Let's say that was only $60,000. But in 3 years, that's $180,000. Then you take that and you go, I'm going to buy this policy for $1 million. Yeah. I'm going to buy it. Then I'm going to borrow against it. And I'm going to pay myself back when I pay myself back. But the point is if you don't have it, money is just a tool. It is nothing more.
Right.
They don't care who it come to. They don't care who it leave. But if you don't know how to use it as a tool, then again, you're right where they want us. Ain't nobody moving. I'm saying we can move. Let's get it.
Yeah, this sounds like the best $949 investment ever. You
get the write off. You get the write off.
Oh yeah, because it's education. So, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. You get it twofold here, and when we think about all of the side hustles that many people have been doing, a lot of people don't know that that's actually 1099.
We live in the gig economy. Mm-hmm. Okay, everybody got a side hustle, and if you don't have one, then when you spend this $949, this can be your side hustle because you get to write it off. If you that's the Willy Wonka effect. That's the golden ticket. And for those young people who are cobbling together jobs, they work just enough where they're not full-time, so they don't get any benefits. They work right up to that little 38 hour, and then they stop, and now they got to go do another one. all of these kids who are, dropping food, doing Grubhub, doing lawn work, doing bookkeeping, teaching online classes, all of those are 1099s, and they're leaving money on the table. And they're not going to have a retirement. This program will actually outpace a W-2 as a side hustle, because again, no matter what you make, if you put that $20,500 in every year, 5 years, you're already over $100,000, right?
Right.
Then you take that money, and then that's when you create something completely different. But if you don't know that you can do that, because at the rate they're going to have to work forever. If they use this plan, if a parent buys this for their kid and then shows their kid, that kid really will have a retirement income when they're older, because right now they're not thinking about it. They're just trying to pay the bills. But you can pay the bills and then get right off because you paid the bills, because that was part of the business. That you just have to know what the pieces are. And for me, working with Dr. McGuire, I had a vision of what I wanted, but I didn't know how to make it happen. Again, for 450 years, we paid those taxes. All I'm saying is I don't want to pay any more than I have to, down to the penny. And then I want to be able to get back what I paid for that I didn't get the benefit of.
Exactly. When you hear about billionaires, not paying taxes or paying on your dollar,
paying less than their secretary.
Yeah, or getting returns back. You even hear about billionaires getting returns back.
Yes.
I mean, it's like, okay, what am I doing wrong? So
you don't know.
Yeah.
And that's why they don't worry, because you don't know.
Yeah.
When I look at our plan, it's tantamount to Walmart. You've got 10% of the people who can't afford it, another 10% who don't need it, because again, they're billionaires. But that 80% swath, 143 million people receive 1099s. Imagine 74% of those people don't know what their deductions are.
Right. Exactly.
Uh-oh, do we have an animal here?
Yeah.
Do we...
Yeah, he usually comes on camera to kind of introduce himself. So.
Kindred spirits. It's all good. Kindred spirits.
Yeah, he likes real good, helpful, friendly people. So.
It's all good. It's all good. That's why I was like, all right, you can come in, but you better be quiet. So yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. So, speaking of people in love and these couples, married people, they got the biggest concerns, and they definitely get hammered and get tossed around around text time. Will this work for them?
Yes, as a matter of fact, when you say that, so the $20,500 that I was saying that you could get for one deduction, as a small business owner, if you and your spouse work together, that spouse also can contribute that $20,500. Now you have $41,000 that you set aside towards your retirement because you put it in a solo 401k. Now let's say that, again, as your spouse working for her or them, they put in their $20,500. You can match that $20,500 as well. So now you've gone from $20,500 to 41 even to now 66,000 that you just set aside towards your retirement. You did that in 1 year. That's why it will outpace your W-2. Your daytime job. You just have to know how to structure these things to your advantage. And what we've done is, again, we've combed through all that information, and when you cross-reference it, that's all you're doing. You're connecting the pieces. That's it.
Yeah, this is definitely, this is revolutionary. This is definitely new wealth we're creating, for, this is definitely the Black Commentary Show. So I'm definitely going to speak specifically to Black Americans here for a second, and say this is just definitely new Black wealth here. We could
yes.
Ultimately.
And that's why I say to people, this plan has the ability to create our own reparations. So like I said, when we start talking about reparations, people get apoplectic and they're just, just losing it. This is taking everything that you're already doing and using it in a different way. You're using it to your advantage. You're not getting beat over the head because you don't know. And that's what you're paying for. This $949, this pays for you to open the door to create that 70% more spendable income, doing the same things that you're doing now, but you just didn't take advantage of it.
Wow.
It's like going to a buffet and all you've ever eaten is burgers. You've got an array of international foods, and you're going to say, can I have a hamburger? Okay. We need all kinds to make the world go around, but if you're exposed to something else, and then for whatever reason you choose not to take advantage of it, that's on you. Because I can lead you to the water, but I can't make you drink. I will say next. I'm going to talk about this, but we're not. I'm going to bring something up, and we're going to talk about this on another show.
Okay.
So I also create trusts for businesses, for people. So when you look at how we use money, I tell people anything that appreciates the value needs to go in a trust. Mm-hmm. And when I talk to people, and sometimes they get that glazed over look because they got to be ready for it, because sometimes, when I start pulling my pieces together to build what we're building, they tend to get a little bit overwhelmed. But this tax plan can open up the door so that you have that extra money, and now you're going to take that money and it's really going to work for you, because that's when you start to create trust. That's when you start to create family foundations. That's when you start to have trustees who are being paid to administer this trust. And we purchased that $1 million policy that someone is paid, $10,000 a year for 20 years, so they paid $200,000, but then when they transitioned, their family got $1 million. So simple math, $200,000, because you're going to spend it. The question is how. $200,000, and then your family gets $1 million. This is one of those programs that can create for you and your family generational wealth. So when we talk about that moment that changes your life and your family's life, that's when we start to replicate the behaviors and we create something totally different, because we are no longer slave to the I don't have, I can't do. Now your question is how can we make more? How can we share more? What can we do within the community? You think about this. If just 5 people, let's say they couldn't afford $1 million. Let's say they could only afford $500,000. Mm-hmm. 5 people, $500,000, trustees in place. You don't have to worry about your house because that was in trust too, because your children now have the benefit of the use of the house. They don't own that house.
Right.
So there is so much that can be created as a result of taking this first step, which is the TaxZero Plan. And I tell people, when you look at this plan, you've heard the old saying, like, if you smoke crack, don't be your best customer. I tell people that with this, not only are you your best customer, you will be able to share your own experience of how this changed you, mm-hmm. and then how it can change whoever it is you talk to. But it starts with action. If you're not going to use it, like I said, take that same hammer and just hit yourself over the head, because I got nothing.
Yeah, and then you got the instant evidence right there in front of you, So, and I think that's what matters right there. And then you guys have the added service coming right behind you, like, hey, once you guys got this extra coming in, here's what you do with it.
Exactly. You don't go out and buy the TV. You don't buy liabilities.
No.
You buy assets.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's a conversation that I'm definitely looking forward to hearing about. I think there's one final question that we definitely gotta put out there, like an answer many might have. And it's a pretty simple question, We kind of been kind of teasing, what type of expenses that you can deduct from 1099s. But let's kind of give them like a little preview, like just how simple these expenses are. Like maybe kind of run down like a little list for us before we get off.
Well, believe it or not, that's why I gave you that specific section
Yeah.
within the IRC code, because that's what we do. We take it and we break it out so simply. Let's say you bought Udemy courses or Skillshares or whatever it is you learned online, whatever it is you got that certification for, that is a write-off. And here is the code by which you use to justify that write-off. So that's why I gave you that particular one, so that you can see that. I want to flip it a little bit, and what I wanted to do, if you don't mind, is I wanted to leave your audience with 6 questions that I want them to answer for themselves.
Oh, that's good. That's even better.
Okay.
Homework.
Okay. So from what you've heard or seen, do you find value in this plan? Do you believe this plan can greatly reduce the effects of inflation? Hold on 1 minute. Do you think it can be a start in closing the income equality gap? That's a really big one for me, because we tie sometimes our wealth and our health to that number, and this can change that dynamically. Do you think that every African American can benefit from this plan? Do you think it's important that they should know about this plan? And then finally, if this information is in front of all of our people, and it should be a crusade, we're really asking you to join in, because I want you to understand that this is a grassroots program. My vision for it is that we start very quietly in the background, but by the time the crest rises, we own this space and nobody even saw us coming.
I love it.
That's my vision.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So do us a favor and tell us once again where we can find this particular course and any other like websites or links you want to put out there for us.
If you wouldn't mind putting all my information at the bottom, but I'll go ahead and I'll say it too.
Oh, yeah, we definitely want to be put that out there. Yeah.
So if you go to AfricanAmericanTrust.us, you will see an array of arenas in which we play. If you contact me at Beverly@AfricanAmericanTrust.us or BeverlyAAT@gmail.com, and you can also go to Facebook and find us there under African American Trust. And finally, I say to people that this is a way to change not only your life, but like I said, those that will come behind you. And this is one of those moments where when you make a decision, it's building bridges. And when they're constructed and they're strong and the foundation is there, they will learn. And this is a future forward thing. This is a right now thing. You get the money right now, and that's what builds your future.
Excellent. I love it. I'm definitely impressed on it. And I'm endorsing it right away. It's definitely something I'm going to grab up for myself. Like, as a small business owner and someone, I've been a small business owner, for over 10 years. I know I'm missing out on some extra money.
Yes, you are. As a matter of fact, I was on a show a couple of days ago. Maybe it was last week. I know they're starting to mail together, but I remember saying to him, because he was saying, my brother and I are in a race to be millionaires. I'm like, doing this, you'll win. You will outpace your brother, and he will be saying, what are you doing?
I like it. I love it. Yeah, I got to get this before the year is over with, so I'm going to hook up with you right away.
Please give me your information, and we will schedule some time and talk and get you situated, and I can show you a way, and that will help you and your listeners, but I can show you a way that I tell people the amount of growth is exponential. Because I tell people, sometimes I just get overwhelmed and my heart starts pacing, because I tell people it's like sitting on a volcano and feeling the rumble. Mm-hmm. You know it's coming, And the beauty is that this is one we're creating, so it's not just an anomaly. There's actually thoughts that have gone into this, and it could be, for us, it could be so magnificent.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. This is incredible. So, ladies and gentlemen out there, do hook up with Beverly. We're gonna have all of the information in the episode description, and it has flashed on the screen if you're watching the playback of this. And those who are listening, again, you can catch it in the episode description as well. You'll catch it in our blog. We have a blog version of this as well. You'll catch it in transcript version as well. So you won't miss anything. If you're still struggling, just reach out to me directly. I want you to get this. I know there's a lot of you guys who can benefit from this as much as I do, because there's a lot of you guys who are freelancers. You guys, ask me for advice all the time. So this is going to complement the advice that I already give you guys. I probably won't hear from you no more.
No. This
they're gonna be calling you more than me.
Listen when I tell you. What's going to happen is, for those who actually take action, what's going to happen is, this is going to open the door, and then once you see how good this is, I'm going to show you something else. That's why I said that's another show. Yeah. And then you're going to be like, oh my God. You're going to, like I said, this makes my heart pitter-patter, but this next thing that we can go into after this.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Well, that's great. So, join us again, on the Black Commentary Podcast Show. Again, I'm here once again with our real good guest. She's been delightful. Check her out. We got her information. Miss Neal-Clinton. She'll be right back with us again in the future. And I'm gonna be staying in close contact with her. I'm not gonna let her get away until I get what I need from her.
I got you. This is good. I got you.
So, until next time, follow us on YouTube, and you can catch me on my socials. We got that too. Many blessings, peace, and lots of love. We are out.